This is Russell Fagan, aka Sinistral Rifleman, and this is my video for the Two Gun Action Challenge match held September 21st, 2019. This match was held during Area 51 raid weekend. Those of us in Tucson stood ready to repel any invading aliens coming through the Tucson Stargate. I'm continuing to use my Dissipator band era rebuild at this match, equipped with an aim point and drop-down carry handle mount. The handgun I'm using is a Glock 21 with Heine classic sights. The Glock 21 was my first handgun I purchased during the ban. My logic for doing so was with a 45 going down to 10 rounds from 13 was less of an insult and less of a disadvantage than going down from 17 to 10 as with a Glock 17. If you can only have 10 rounds, they might as well be 10 big ones. I did not download my magazines to 10 rounds for this match. I loaded them to the full 13 round capacity. During the ban, I had one 13 round magazine that I use as my primary carry mag, and it cost me about $80 during that time frame. I haven't actually used a Glock 21 in about 15 years, and I installed the Heine classic sights on this the night before, so without a chance to really practice, we'll see how this shakes out during the match. This stage begins with the shooter in a kneeling position. The number of hits required per position were based on the cartridge fired. Because I'm using 5.56, I have to make 4 hits per position. From the remaining positions, I take all the shots offhand. A few misses by being less stable is still quicker than taking the time to set up in prone or kneeling. This is another stage where I feel like using a mil-spec trigger is limiting me versus using the 4.5 pound DMR or SLT. With the mil-spec trigger, if I try to shoot too quickly, I always pull it off target. I have to be much more patient in my trigger pull than I am with my match triggers. On this stage, I'm second in tac scope and fourth overall. This stage begins with me doing my first draw ever out of this UM92 holster on the clock. The trigger guard area on this was broken, which doesn't help things. This Texas Star is at about 15 yards. All shots fired must go underneath this barricade. When I have to shoot a pistol from the prone position, I prefer to lay on my side so that the sight picture remains consistent as it would if I were standing straight up. If people shoot prone with their arms extended out in front of them with a pistol, they tend to look over their sights and their rounds go high. This target in the center is called a triple dropper. You got to make at least 3 solid hits on it to make it fall all the way down to its end position. I am learning where these sights hit with every round fired on the clock, and the thing I'm missing versus my modified Glock frames is the thumb shelf to help control recoil. I feel a weird recoil impulse here, so I think the slide simply hasn't locked back when I've shot empty. I reload, it takes some work to get the full 13 round mag seated. When I charge it, the round that was actually still in the chamber doesn't eject because of the angle at which I'm shooting. I then have to slap the slide back home into battery. Action shooting is problem solving under stress. Things never go according to plan, so being able to fix problems like this on the fly is something you should train to do. I'm 3rd tac scope and 10th overall on this stage. This stage really made or broke the match for a lot of people. Pistol skills are where most of the competitors at Two Gun Action Challenge matches struggle. This is the kind of technically demanding pistol stage where I'd love to shoot it again with my red dot pistols. It's no surprise that the open and armor division shooters where red dots are allowed are clustered towards the top of the results on this stage. The stage begins with the shooter engaging these 2 mini IPSC targets at 50 yards with 2 hits each. After engaging those targets, the shooter advances forward, engaging 4 paper targets along the way. I always take these kind of targets on the move and shoot multiple rounds. The best 2 hits count. Stopping and sending more accurate hits isn't worth the time to stop and start. I picked a good day to shoot 45 because these steel poppers are set particularly heavy. On the second array, I watched many shooters struggle and go through multiple magazines, particularly if they weren't making good hits towards the upper third of the target. Must Stop and Power proves victorious on this stage, giving me 1st in tac scope and 1st overall. The Force Ghost of Colonel Jeff Cooper smiles upon me from the ether, even though I'm shooting 45 ACP out of a plastic sissy pistol. But in 2019, he'll take what he can get. In all seriousness, for my millennial and Gen Z viewers, you should read Colonel Jeff Cooper's works to get an understanding of where the modern school of small arms came from and how we got to where we are today. On this stage, the shooter must make a hit on each of 2 mini IPSC steel targets at extreme angles at the back of the bay at 50 yards. I'm not wearing my normal Arcturix kneecaps at this match. Instead, I'm using the optional knee pads that can be inserted into these First Tactical BDU pants. I think these knee pads are basically better than nothing and give you the option of discrete knee protection that you can wear more easily in different situations than dedicated knee pads. However, in this match environment, they don't always stay in place when I go down into the prone position, and I'm putting a lot of force down on my knees when I drop down into these positions. I can do that much quicker with the Arcturix kneecaps with confidence because of the way they absorb and stay in place. So I'll start to slow down as I go into some of these positions because I don't want to injure my knees doing so. I think I could knock about 5 to 10% off this stage run using my regular Arcturix kneecaps. I end up 3rd TAC scope on this stage and 5th overall. In the end, I am 3rd out of 17 in TAC scope and 6th out of 51 overall. Pretty decent for using an uncompetitive ban era build with mil-spec trigger and a new pistol with new sights that I hadn't shot before. Solid fundamentals allow me to perform reasonably well with about any semi-automatic firearm that I pick up, so long as it is zeroed and reliable. More advanced equipment won't help you unless you have a certain baseline of skill, but if you do have the skill, it will allow you to make full use of it with less effort. Well, no one made it past the gates at Area 51, and nothing came out of the Stargate in Tucson, but it was a fun day in Tucson shooting the match nonetheless. Thank you for watching. Come back again for more match and multi-gun competition content.